right, we're going to get rolling in just a couple of minutes here. Anyone who's waiting, please stick around. Feel free to share this live stream on your various short social networks. We'll get started at 1 o'clock promptly. Thank you.
Yep, just popped up as live now.
If you're just joining us, welcome. We are going to get started promptly at 1 o'clock in about 3 minutes. In the meantime, sit back, relax, and feel free to share this live stream across all your various social networks. Be back in just a minute. Although I'm also sending it on Facebook separately, so that doesn't include the Facebook chat. John David Coppola just posted, "Are we getting ready to watch Seth on the elliptical workout machine?"
That would be a good one. That would be fabulous.
Seth. John Coppola, I have no idea what this thing is. I'm assuming it's a piece of modern art here in my music room. Thank you.
That was good. That was good.
Who's Pam Stubbs? They sent hearts. I guess there's 8 people watching across all platforms right now.
Or you can get all the platforms?
That's what Restream does. It kind of
Okay.
sends it out everywhere. So theoretically now it's going out to YouTube, both of my Facebook accounts, Twitter, and my LinkedIn account.
Oh, okay.
I bought that early in the pandemic.
Yeah.
$12 a month.
I was going to say, what's the subscription now?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are T-minus 1 minute and counting. We're going to get rolling here with this performance in just a minute. Please stick around. Please go ahead and share this live stream if you're so inclined. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it is 1 o'clock, so we're going to get rolling here. My name is Seth Kibel. With me today is my good friend and musical collaborator, Sean Lane. and we're going to present a program of klezmer and other Jewish-related music in honor of Jewish American Heritage Month, which technically ended 2 days ago, but who's keeping track? And this concert is brought to you by student involvement at HACC, Central Pennsylvania's Community College. So stick around for the next hour, share the stream if you're so inclined, invite a few friends to watch, go ahead and type some questions or comments in the chat, and we will stop at several different points during the performance and do our best to address any pertinent questions contained there within. All right, we're going to get rolling. I'll talk a little bit more about this music after we make some noise first. 1, 2, 1, 2. Thank you so much for what I'm just vainly assuming is your virtual applause. That was a traditional klezmer melody entitled A Nacht in Gan Eden, which translated from the Yiddish into English means a night in the Garden of Eden. I don't know, a Thursday afternoon in my basement? Pretty darn close. Anyhow, klezmer music, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, is Jewish American music. It originates in the Old Country, Places like present-day Poland, Ukraine, Russia, Romania, Hungary, in the Jewish villages of the old country. And it was party music, the kind of music that you would hear at a wedding or other type of village celebration. But it gets even more interesting than that, because it's also what happened to that music when over 2.5 million Jews traveled across the Atlantic Ocean at the end of the 19th, beginning of the 20th century, settled in New York, the Lower East Side of Manhattan, where those old world sounds began to mix with the sounds of the New World. Early jazz, Dixieland, Tin Pan Alley, and the result in many ways is a quintessentially American form of music reflective of the Jewish immigrant experience in the melting pot of New York. Thank you for attending my TED Talk. We're going to continue with another traditional klezmer tune. This is one of those songs that goes back who knows how far, hundreds of years, written by that great Jewish composer Anonymous Berg. Anyway, this is entitled Otazoi, which in Yiddish means that's the way. And again, this concert is brought to you by HACC, Central Pennsylvania's Community College. Thanks to Monica Dixon-Howard and Student Development for sponsoring it. And go ahead, if you're watching live, type your questions, comments in the chat, and we will definitely make a point of getting to them before too long. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to now veer off into the repertoire of Yiddish song. And this next song we're going to do was actually composed for one of the very first Yiddish talkies, motion pictures with sound. It was a 1937 film starring Moshe Oisha. And for this film, they got the great Yiddish theater composer Alexander Olshanetsky. Olshanetsky. To write the songs, and this was the big hit from that. And this song is called Mein Städtele Bells, and Bells is the name of a town in the old country. So this song is basically a nostalgic look back at the motherland, at the home country, the hometown left behind. So here we go, Mein Städtel Harrisburg. One, two, three. Thank you. I think we're going to do one more song before we take a brief pause to answer and address some of the questions and comments I see popping up on YouTube and Facebook and whatnot. So if you have questions, go ahead, type them in. We'll get to them in just a minute. But I want to do another song first. You know, as you may know, much of this music, much of the Klezmer repertoire originates in the Ukraine. You know, we want to pay tribute to that and the struggles of the Ukrainian people right now. So we're going to highlight throughout our program a few different songs that have Ukrainian origins. This next one is a great example. It's a traditional Bulgar, which is the kind of lively, fast circle dance like we would play at a wedding or whatnot, where you put the people up in the chairs and try not to hit their head on the ceiling. But this one is from Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, so it is appropriately enough entitled Kiever Bulgar, or the Bulgar from Kyiv. Okay, give me a second here. Let me stroll over and see what questions and comments are coming up. I have a bunch of different platforms. Let's see. Okay, on YouTube, we get a question from Lisa. Lisa asks a good question. She says, would each of these songs have a specific dance that was done along with it? I mean, yes and no. There were types of dances that were done with these. For example, like the fast kind of up-tempo Freilich or Bulgar that we did now would involve basically a circle dance. You know, with everyone in circles. Traditionally, it would be gender separated. Now, in more Reform and conservative Jewish congregations, you mix. It's not uncommon to see the genders mixing, but it would be some kind of circle dance. Now, the choreography could vary. A lot of time, the choreography would be improvised, but it would be that same kind of circle dance where everyone's, you know, in a circle doing that sort of thing, choreography together. And there are a few other different types of dance. None of this, traditionally, though, was couple dancing. It was all various types of circle, line dancing, what have you. Okay, that was...
Otazoi.
Yeah, Otazoi, the Chassidl,
yeah.
That would have various types of dances as well, you know. The drunken Russian swagger, as I like to say. All right, let me go over here to Facebook and see what's going on here. Oh, Saul Lubarov. How you doing, Saul? Oh, great. Saul, who's an excellent musician in his own right out in Iowa, has a good question. He says, what kind of clarinets were available in Eastern Europe before World War II? Okay, most of the old country clarinetists played basically what we would call Albert system clarinets, the German clarinet. A little different than the modern clarinet, fewer keys, pitched in C, kind of a C clarinet, not a transposing instrument. Now, when these clarinetists came over to New York in the early decades of the 20th century, many of them, although not all of them, would switch over to a more modern French Bohm B-flat clarinet, like the one I'm playing here. And today, probably more often than not, you're going to see klezmer clarinetists playing the modern clarinet. There are some exceptions. There are some wonderful clarinetists out there who play some old and historically accurate clarinets, similar to the ones they might have used in the old country. Good to see you, Saul. And then, oh, John Reese says hi. That was my wedding photographer.
Oh, wow.
Saul says his grandfather was born in Kyiv. Okay, well, thank you so much for all this feedback. Keep typing those questions and comments in. Share this stream if you're so inclined. We've got another 38 minutes to go, so we're going to play some more music. We're going to play a very famous song right now. Now, this song has a very long and peculiar history. I'm not going to give you the full story because that would take half of the time we have remaining. You can Google it after we're done. Don't Google it now. But the short version is this song originates in the Yiddish Theater, 2nd Avenue of Manhattan in 1932, written by the great composer of the Yiddish Theater, Sholem Secunda. But this song finds its way through a rather circuitous, roundabout way into the hands of a trio of singing sisters from Minnesota with the last name of Andrews, the Andrews Sisters. And in their hands, this song becomes one of the biggest hits of the swing era. This is By Mir Bist Du Schön. you very much. Thank you very much. Well, the second generation of the Jewish immigrants who came to this country at the end of the 19th, beginning of the century, produced some of the greatest composers, musicians, and songwriters this country has ever seen. And chief among them, of course, would be Jacob Gershwin, better known as George Gershwin. Now, he was born on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. He was an American. His parents had both come to this country as immigrants. But the Jewish and Klezmer influence never was that far from his music. Nowhere is it more pronounced than in his final crowning achievement, his 1935 folk opera, Porgy and Bess. Now, lyrically, Porgy and Bess was about black life on Catfish Row, but musically, it was some of the most Jewish-flavored music he had ever written. Whether it was songs like Summertime, or, most notably, this song we're about to play for you, It Ain't Necessarily So. Now, lyrically, of course, It Ain't Necessarily So is about the Old Testament of the Bible. And musically, it's very Jewish in nature. In fact, it has such a Jewish flavor that many people have theorized that Gershwin either consciously or perhaps unconsciously lifted the melody of this song from the blessings over the Torah. If you've ever been to a brat mitzvah, the kid gets up there on the bima, on the podium there, goes up to the Torah and does the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Baruch le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai. It ain't necessarily so. It's a very similar melody. It's undeniable. Gershwin himself wasn't very religious. But a friend of his once said, and I'm paraphrasing here, you couldn't get Gershwin into synagogue, but you couldn't get the synagogue out of Gershwin. And I think that's very true in this song. By the way, this song is also a very useful song to use to remember how to pronounce my last name. You just repeat the following lyric to yourself. It ain't necessarily so. It ain't necessarily so. The things that you're liable to hear from Seth Kibel, they ain't necessarily so. Thank you so much. Again, for those of you just joining us, this concert is being brought to you free of charge by HACC, Central Pennsylvania's Community College, and the Offices of Student Involvement. Thanks to Monica Dixon-Howard for making it possible. Now, if you are not an HACC student, you are still welcome to watch, chime in with questions, what have you. We've got a few right now. We've got some shifty people watching. We've got apparently someone by the name of Jim Lane, along with Erin, watching. Yes, yeah.
Won't answer any of their questions.
Excellent, excellent. Lisa has another good question. She says, would the cost of instruments have been prohibitive to those who would have played them? Well, that's a good question. You know, in the old country, this music, this trade of klezmer, was a family affair. When you were born into a musical capella, a musical family, you had a gig for life. So when each male child, reached a certain age, they would receive an instrument that was either already in the family or could be cheaply obtained. So a lot of times these instruments were just handed down generation to generation. And it wasn't always necessary to go out and purchase a new instrument like you would in more modern times. Let me take a quick look here. Yeah, Ruthie, again, everyone keeps asking about this. Ruthie is asking about this thing. She called it a treadmill. I don't know what it is. This is a piece of modern art, I assume. My family put this in the basement. I don't know what it does. I just like to put things on it. All right, we're going to play some more music for you right now. Thanks for watching, Ruthie. All right, let's see. We're going to continue with a medley of traditional up-tempo freilachs or bolgars, the kind of lively circle dance we would play at a wedding or a brat mitzvah or something of that sort. And you're welcome to listen, you're welcome to dance, but neither we nor HACC assume any liability for injuries incurred while dancing to our music.
Double for Jim Lane.
Oh, yeah. One, two, three, four. Thank you so much. Another message. Betty also says, excellent job.
Oh, thank you.
Excellent job. Hi, Betty. I miss you. All right. Lisa has another good question. The fluttery sound that I'm doing sometimes on the clarinet, I think what you're referring to, Lisa, is when I do this. That's called a flutter tone, and I can very simply explain how I'm doing it. I'm rolling my R's. If you can roll your R's, you can do flutter tongue. If you can't roll your R's, abandon all hope. Okay, so let's see. Let's go ahead. Let's go to And the Angels Sing.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're going to do a fun one now. This song actually was a hit for the Benny Goodman Orchestra in 1938, but has its roots in Jewish klezmer music. Now, the guy responsible for this is not Benny Goodman. He was Jewish, but he didn't really have a background in klezmer music. No, it was his second chair trumpet player, a guy by the name of Ziggy Elman. Now, this may shock you to learn this, but Ziggy Elman's parents did not name him Ziggy Elman. He was born with the somewhat less hip name of Harry Finkelman. And somewhere along the lines, Harry Finkelman became Ziggy Elman. And he's the one who brings the klezmer influence into the Benny Goodman organization, because indeed, he mostly played Jewish music before his big break playing with the Benny Goodman Orchestra. And so his idea for the song was basically this. He took an old traditional klezmer melody called the Stiller Bulgar, the quiet Bulgar. I'm just going to play you a few measures of it. And Ziggy's idea was to take that traditional melody, slow it down, and swing it. And he brought that idea to Johnny Mercer, who wrote lyrics and fleshed it out, and that's how the song And the Angels Sing was born. So this is our arrangement of Johnny Mercer's arrangement of Ziggy Elman's idea of And the Angels Sing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I think we got probably about 2 more songs to bring us till 2 o'clock. So we're going to do one more song and then do a final round of questions. So if you've got any questions, concerns, comments, quandaries, conundrums, conniptions, go ahead and type them in the chat on YouTube or Facebook at this time. So our penultimate selection is going to be a Yiddish folk song. This one, in fact, dates all the way back to the mid-19th century, composed by Mark Warshawski. It's called Oifen Pripyatchik, or On the Hearth. And it was actually a children's lullaby designed to teach Jewish children the letters of the Hebrew Aleph Bet, the Hebrew alphabet. And it's a lullaby, and I like to think we play this pretty well, but hopefully we won't play this lullaby so well that you all fall asleep while listening to it. This is Oifen Pripyatchik. Thank you so much. Okay, so before I do a final inspection of the chat windows, let me do a final round of thank yous. Thanks to Monica Dixon-Howard with Student Development at HACC, Central Pennsylvania's Community College, for bringing us here and making this live stream possible in honor of Jewish American Heritage Month. Again, on piano, that's Sean Lane. My name is Seth Kibel. Look me up online. I'm on the interwebs. I'm on the Face Chat, the Twitgram, the Tube app, all that stuff. I'm easy to find. I've got an unusual name. You type in Seth Kibel anywhere, you'll find my CDs. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. I'd love to connect with you again, either in person or virtually. And thanks to everyone who is watching, either live or after the fact in one of the replays of this stream. So let me see if we have any other final questions or comments. Thank you so much for all the nice comments. And yes, Monica mentioned if you're watching on YouTube, there is, I think, an evaluation form you can fill out, which they would certainly appreciate. Let me see if there's any more questions over here. I think that's it. A lot of nice comments, but I think we're ready to proceed with our final selection of the afternoon. So we're going to end with another kind of traditional up-tempo thing. This is called Deheser Bulgar. Thank you so much. Hope to see you again real soon. Thanks again to HACC, Central Pennsylvania's Community College. See you soon.